One of the things that's very difficult for many people right now, it's difficult to be alone. And we have fears coming up around being alone as well. With the situation in hospitals, if you have to go into the hospital, you're not going to be able to have family with you or friends or anybody who might be connected with you. That also adds another layer to this. But for most of us, the situation might be something like I'm alone more than I usually am. Our nervous systems are heightened by the fear. So we're more likely to have catastrophic thoughts. We might have an inner critic that's really come back into play. And it's uncomfortable to be alone because we can't distract ourselves as easily right now. So, whatever we would normally do to downregulate our nervous system isn't as available to us now. So, we would have maybe gone out to a restaurant for a meal with friends, or we would have gotten together with people and gone for a walk, but closely instead of, 6 feet apart. Or a lot of times we would go shopping or we would do something that is calming to our nervous system that we can't do right now because we're under these isolation orders. We have to stay put. And that can be especially hard when we're not really comfortable with our own mind and the energy in our body. If we're feeling that activation from the fear, then our body's not as comfortable to be in. And a lot of people being really present and okay with whatever's happening in their body is something that we're still working and moving into. It's not entirely comfortable yet. So, what I find working with myself and with other people is that we reach a tipping point where we realize and we know in all the cells of our body that we're not dangerous to ourselves. That if there's an energy coming up, that it's something that's here to be seen, to be attended to. It feels sticky because there's memories and thoughts with it. And as we become more and more proficient at being present in this moment and watching as these thoughts roll through, watching as the Velcro, the stickiness on things starts to dissolve, then we have more space, we have more freedom. And that's a difficult practice right now because of the nervous system and the heightened fear in our bodies and how that generates catastrophic thoughts. It generates all kinds of uncomfortability. And so I wanted to work more directly with that today. And there's an inquiry in the Killaby inquiries called the reverse inquiry, where we will take a statement that is true and then we'll say the opposite. So if your experience might be something like, it's freaking me out to be alone so much, or I'm not comfortable with the thoughts in my mind, that it's scaring me, or my body's just this ball of tension and I hate being here. I want something to distract me. Then to reverse that would be something like, I'm completely okay with being alone. I'm fine with being present with myself, with my mind, with my energy. So I'm going to weave that in. I wanted to explain the concept before we start. And then I'll weave that in as we start to do some relaxing. Remember that there's some tools we can use to remain present. What we're trying to do with these inquiries and with our relaxation practices and resting practices as well is to remain present in this moment in time. And so we'll start there. So right now in this moment in time, and we do this often in these practices, what's your situation? Are you physically safe? That's the first thing to check. Is it very, very likely that your body will be safe while we do this practice? Most of us are in a secure location where we can relax and we can do a practice. And if you're at a coffee shop or something like that, you might have to be a little bit more aware of what's going on around you. But most of us are in a room or in a home or in an environment that feels safe. So that could be something we could notice just as we start. Does your body feel safe where it is right now? And when we ascertain that, when we look at, is that true? We use our eyes, we might look around. but there's also that familiarity of the place. So our nervous system operates on evidence from the past. And if we've always or predominantly been safe in this space that we're in right now, then that gives us a comfort that most likely it'll be okay. So notice that in your body. If we're uncomfortable or unsafe, we'll often have that tension in our body. Our shoulders are around our ears, we're clenching our teeth, we're not breathing very well. Notice if you actually do feel safe, you're pretty confident that your body is okay right now, that we can maybe breathe a little bit more deeply. Let your shoulders soften, move away from the ears. Let your jaw soften as well, your stomach. So we have these levels. We have the level of cognitive thought, and that's what we're looking at. Looking around, we're remembering that, in fact, this is a safe location. And then we also have the lived experience of that, the felt experience of that in our body. And that's more the unconscious mind, the survival system, the nervous system. So by taking some deep breaths and relaxing our body, we're signaling our nervous system that it's safe right now. Notice what that feels like in your body. And as you're doing that, notice what is the environment in your mind, your thought stream right now? 5 minutes ago when you first arrived, what is it like now? What I was just talking about around looking into, I feel safe in my body right now. I feel safe being alone. That might have stirred some things up. And then we're drawing ourselves back into this awareness of our body. Notice your feet on the floor or however they are. Notice the whole back of your body, especially if you're lying down or supported through your back body. Notice if you could let go of the holding yourself up. We can let go of that anxiety about the future as well when we bring our attention back. Notice the back of your neck and shoulders, the large muscles of the upper back, mid back, from your shoulders through the back of your arms and hands. Right now, we're not doing duty in the world, so we don't have to be active through our hands and arms. Notice the whole back of your legs, your hips. Let your attention settle back right now in this moment. We don't have to think about the future. And then notice what are the thoughts that are here around being alone. We're isolating ourselves physically from each other right now. And some people are doing that in a really kind of a minimal way because they still have to work. Maybe they're essential services. They need to go out and do things or get groceries, or for some reason they're out and about more. And others of us are completely just staying at home. And what are your feelings about that? What thoughts come up when you look at that? I don't have any choice. There's an emergency order. I have to stay at home. And what's that experience like for you? Sometimes we feel a bit relieved, actually. It feels a bit safer to stay home. We don't have to negotiate traffic and people and workplaces and a lot of the things that normally take a fair bit of effort to negotiate. We're on our guard. Some of those might be moved to the background now or missing entirely. So we might notice there's a safety or an ease. There are some things about this that I like. I'm not as busy. I'm getting the opportunity to just kind of rest a bit more or clean out my kitchen cupboards, whatever that might be. And remain really tuned into your body and your breath as you're looking at this. And notice what it is that you're missing. Maybe it's walking in a certain park that you like to go to, hugging somebody, that social connection that we just all took for granted. Even if we were feeling socially isolated a lot of the time before this, there was still an ease about being able to move out in the world as we wanted. If we wanted to go to the store, or if we wanted to get together with somebody, or if we wanted to just walk in a park, we could do that. And now we can't. We're being told to stay home. And as you're looking at that, notice what's coming up in your body. There might be heaviness in your chest, gripping in your stomach, all kinds of sensations that come and go in their body. So just notice what's here. From this observing position or witnessing position, what it is that's coming and going in our mind, our thoughts, our body. I wish I could. I miss this. If you notice your body's tightening up anywhere, or if you're starting to hold your breath, or if it's getting a bit choppy, take a few breaths. Relax whatever parts are tightening up. Let them soften with the out breath. One of the reasons we do inquiry is just to see what's here. We're not trying to fix anything, really. Some things we like, some things we don't like, some things we welcome, some things feels like it's too much. We're just noticing what's going on with that right now. And from this groundedness, from this awareness that right now we're in a room that's safe, we know where our body is. We know that we're sitting or lying down. We know what's going on with our breath. We're aware and attuned. Let's start to look at what's really difficult about being alone. And one of the most important ways that we can look at this is with a lens of kindness and compassion. Human beings have a built in instinct to be together. We feel safer when we're in the middle of the herd, not out at the edge somewhere. So some of this is primitive brain survival system. And we also have love and care and connection. There's something in us that keeps being open to that and kind of searching for that. Even if we've been hurt so much by other people, we still have that heartfelt desire for love and connection. And a lot of what we work with is connecting with ourselves with kindness, compassion. Right now, that might be most of what we have to work with. We can't go out and do the things we normally do. We can't visit. We have to stay home. So, what is it about that that comes up that's quite difficult or that causes some discomfort or pain? And see if you could just stay with that for a minute. Look at the thoughts that are here. You can tap on them, put them to a frame, do focus shifting. There's ways that we can work with the thoughts, right? And keep aware of your breath, of your body, the energy that might be in your body. And then everybody will be different. See if you can come up with a sentence. I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts, or something even more specific. When I'm alone like this, my inner critic really gets going. Something that describes your experience of the difficulty of being alone so much right now. And then put that into a reverse sentence, whatever that might be for you. It's okay to me that I'm alone more right now, or I feel safe even when the inner critic is going. I can find safety here for myself. Or I'm 100% okay with this, with being alone. We could say it in kind of an exaggerated way. And as you're looking at that sentence and hearing those words, hearing the sounds, you might put them into a frame. I'm 100% safe to be alone. And then we're looking for the no. What comes up in your body, in your mind that says that's not true? And then let's sit with that for a little bit. So remain aware that you're looking at words and pictures, you're noticing sensations and energy. And as they come up, look at them, do some tapping on them, trace the space around the outside. And then, as soon as you can, come back into the body. Notice the energy, sensations, tightness. Notice the location of the energy in your body. If it's in your chest, is it your whole chest? Is it push out to the edges of your body? Is it a tight little knot in the middle? Notice where the energy is and notice the space all around the energy as well. This is the way our nervous system works. We have thoughts and associated energy in our body. We also have the awareness of that. Keep coming back to the breath and to the feeling that your body is safe right now. Notice your relationship with those thoughts or with the energy. If you want to back away from it, that's absolutely fine. We don't need to be aggressive or pushy. That doesn't actually help. Remain really grounded in your body in this moment in time. Notice your breath. And then, if there's a curiosity, what's here that's making it difficult for me to be alone? What was the no to that? And then let that settle. Let the practice go, the inquiry question go. Come back again now to resting. We often notice that our body has gone through a series of changes. There's energy that's maybe come and gotten quite tight, and then it's released or it's moved. It's gone up into our throat, and then it's gone back into our whole body, and then it's come back into the chest. The energy is very fluid. And then when we come back and we're taking a break from this now, we're letting the inquiry question go. Use your attention, your awareness to let your whole system settle again. Right now, just breathe. Notice your forehead and eyebrows. Let them soften and relax. Notice that sensation of air as it flows through your nostrils down into your throat. If you're clenching your teeth or if your hinges of your jaw are tight, move your lower jaw around a little bit. Let that soften. You release any tightness through the neck, the shoulders, down through your arms and hands. As you breathe out, let it drain out through your shoulders and arms, down through your hands, fingers, fingertips. Notice the back of your neck, your shoulders, your upper back. Let your shoulders move away from your ears. And see if you could let that hardening across the back soften. It might be kind of obvious, it might be subtle. Just let your whole upper back soften and relax. Notice your chest, the large muscles that cover the rib cage at the front. And then we're getting into the movement of our body with the breath through the lower ribs, the stomach area, navel center, lower belly. Notice your whole entire body, head to toes. Let's take a moment with our conscious cognitive mind. Just review what came forward during the inquiry. Is there something that came up that you weren't aware of, or something you were aware of but that you'd like to go into more deeply? Make a mental note to do that later. And then, if you wanted to bring your hand to your heart, you could, or just to sit with the compassion and kindness that you could bring for yourself. This is a very hard situation that we're in. We're all feeling fear. We're feeling sadness and grief, perhaps. There's just the awareness of what's happening in the world right now, whether it's a little bit distant from us or whether it's really close to home. There's our nervous system that gets engaged, and the feeling of fear in our body generates thoughts in the mind. Just right now, could you let yourself absorb your own compassion and kindness? Notice your breath. Let yourself rest with that for a moment. And set your intention that as you move through the day, you'll come back to this, to the resting, but also really to the kindness. Let yourself absorb your own compassion. Let yourself rest with that. And then when you're ready, finish the practice and open your eyes.